Hello and welcome to Kinshasa, where Muhammad Ali and George Foreman went toe-to-toe for a world title back in 1974 in the so-called Rumble in the Jungle. Today, it's two football heavyweights who go head-to-head as the Democratic Republic of Congo face Morocco in the first leg of their 2022 FIFA World Cup playoff. This the first of 5 massive games in African football today. Games which will go some way to clarifying the 5 nations that will represent the continent at the World Cup in Qatar in November. The other 5 will be sitting at home watching the tournament from their sofas or, more likely, the beach. Morocco reached the quarterfinals of the recent Nations Cup, though were disappointed to be knocked out at the quarterfinal stage by the eventual blanket. Some travelling support, as you can see, for Vahid Halilhodzic's side. But of course the vast majority packed into the Stade des Martyrs, the Stadium of the Martyrs, will be right behind the home side. They've been in the stadium some 3 to 4 hours before kickoff, making quite a racket and producing quite an atmosphere. Let's hope that the two teams can live up to the stage which the fans have set for them. As I mentioned, 5 massive games on the African continent today. The first legs of this 3rd round of qualifying have come through a rather arduous and delayed, it has to be said, 2nd round of qualifying, a group stage. The group stage which was previously the final stage of qualifying for the World Cup. Now the meat in the sandwich, as it were, with this, the business end. 180 minutes and potentially extra time in the 2nd leg to decide that place at the World Cup in Qatar. Quite a number of teams with redemption in mind as well as they head into these playoffs. Cameroon, not particularly one of them, it has to be said, although they would have been hugely disappointed not to have won the Nations Cup on home soil, coming so close in the semi-finals, but also falling to the penalty shootout magicians Egypt. But they come up against Algeria, who of course were the defending champions going into the tournament in Cameroon, and disappointed so badly, finishing bottom in the group. Got Mali against Tunisia as well, and Ghana and Nigeria, 2 other sides that underperformed, you'd have to say, certainly in terms of their footballing pedigree in Cameroon, just after the turn of the year. And then, as the fates would have it, it's a replay of the Nations Cup final, Egypt against Senegal. Remember, that one went down to a penalty shootout. Gabaski, the Egyptian goalkeeper, doing so well in a number of shootouts throughout the tournament. 3-0, says that man. That's pretty ambitious against the Morocco side that's so good at defending. Certainly an air of expectation amongst the Moroccan fans. And if you look at the FIFA rankings, you'd have to say that they have every reason to be optimistic. Democratic Republic of Congo, the lowest ranked side in the playoff, while Morocco are second only to the African champion Senegal, and they do have the undoubted individual quality, do the Moroccans. Such as Ashraf Hakimi, Youssef En-Nesyri and Yassine Bouna, the goalkeeper, playing at the very top end of European club football. As we see the Morocco substitutes and the staff of the hosts heading out. Everybody fairly relaxed, but there'll be a good degree of tension now. That's an interesting sight there. Theo Bongonda among the Democratic Republic of Congo substitutes here today at kickoff. Had been widely expected that he would start. He's been in great form in the Belgian league as Bongonda with Genk. But coach Hector Cooper preferring to start him on the bench with the veteran Diomansy Mbokani alongside Cedric Bakambu, who's quite a veteran at 31, but he's heading that way. I say 31, my apologies to Mr. Bakambu, he's still only 30 for about another 2 weeks, but he's been in super form since returning to European football with Marseille in January. But there is that option for Hector Cooper should it be required. To have a realistic chance, they need to win here today, do the DRC. Although there is the away goals rule, of course, so a draw wouldn't be too bad, a 0-0 draw, that is. It means that if they score in Casablanca on Tuesday, then Morocco will need 2. So then Muhammad Ali and George Foreman went toe-to-toe. Rumble in the jungle all the way back in 1974. Today, it's 2 heavyweights of African football as the Democratic Republic of Congo host Morocco in the first leg of this 2022 FIFA World Cup playoff. The first of 5 huge games in Africa today. 180 minutes, potentially 30 more, and then a penalty shootout could decide the 5 places for the African teams to represent the continent at Qatar 2022 in November. The stakes incredibly high for these 2 teams as they head out onto the pitch at the Stade des Martyrs, the Stadium of the Martyrs in Kinshasa. Moroccans can expect a rather hostile welcome from the home fans. You can see the colours of the Democratic Republic of Congo almost universal around the stadium. Fans have been packed in for a number of hours already before kick-off, making quite a racket. And their side will need that vocal backing here today against the Morocco team with great individual talent. Although I think you saw Diomansy Amal there, he wins the most outrageous haircut of the day as we prepare for the national anthems. Now the anthem for the hosts. Tremendous atmosphere then as we wait for this first leg on this playoff for a place at the World Cup. One of these two teams will be going to Qatar in November. What happens over the next 180 minutes of football between these two, first here in Kinshasa and then in Casablanca on Tuesday, will decide which ones you'll be watching at the biggest show of them all in football in Qatar in November. Romain Saïss, the Morocco captain, already prepared to exchange pennants. As we get a look at the teams, I think. Indeed we do. Democratic Republic of Congo. Coach Hector Cooper lining up like this. Bakambu and Mbakani start. No Theo Bongonda, a bit of a surprise. He's been doing so well in Belgian football this season, but he is on the bench as an option for the Argentinian coach. Otherwise, pretty much as you would expect for the home side as they look to shake off that wait for a World Cup return that's almost half a century long. Looks like that the coin toss has been won by the home side, and we've got VAR in use today. Two French referees, François Le Texier, Benoit Milo, will be in the VAR room as we get a look at the Morocco lineup. No major surprises from coach Vahid, as he'll know. The Mai brothers both start. Sami and Ryan. Yassine Bounou shaking off a muscle problem to take his place in goal, but there is no Abde, the young Barca forward. He's got a knee inflammation. The artificial pitch here in Kinshasa will certainly not help that, so he will miss the game, and his first start for his country, his first game for his country, will have to wait. Mr. Gomez, the South African referee, then ready to get us underway in Kinshasa. Morocco kick us off in Kinshasa against the Democratic Republic of Congo. These two sides just about 180 minutes away, either from a place at Qatar 2022 or watching the tournament from the beach. Offside in the colours, the national colours. Monsieur Amal's hair there is definitely not the national colours of Democratic Republic of Congo. The flash of fluorescent pink makes the commentator's life easier. Actually plays his club football in Morocco, doing very well with Difar El Jadida, fourth in the Moroccan league right now. Moroccan league which has been run away with by Yassine Bounou's first club, Wydad Casablanca, and Raja Casablanca. Those two well ahead of the field. See the bounce on the artificial pitch, very, very high indeed. Flag is up for offside against the ever lively Cedric Bakambu. He's really been in tremendous form for Marseille since returning from 2.5 years in Chinese football, actually, with Beijing, Guoan, where he was actually coached by Naya Fagued's current coach at Rennes, Bruno Genesio. Chancellor Mbemba, now at Porto after starting his career in Europe at Anderlecht, like so many of these players through the Belgian league. He also had to spell up in the northeast of England though too, did Mbemba, with Newcastle United. And of course, have just had a huge influx of money from Saudi Arabia, having been taken over. No doubt to be future heavyweight of European and world football over the next decade or so. Here comes Morocco. Nasiri was a little bit fooled by the bounce on the artificial pitch. That will be difficult for many of these players to get used to. Of course, they'll have had their pre-match training session here, but an hour or so isn't really enough to get used to the bounce. Very, very different to grass surface that they will be used to. It's a nice little ball through, and maybe a shooting opportunity here. It was Amal who was in the way. It was Adam Messina, the Watford fullback, who had the sight of goal. Not a clear sight, but certainly the first one that either side has had 3 minutes into this one in Kinshasa. Morocco corner, look out for Aguerd and Sai's huge threats. Literally and metaphorically from set pieces for Morocco. Loser, one of 3 Watford players on the pitch, he delivers. Get a second opportunity. Nicely bent in again and behind for a corner, and a great bit of gymnastics too from Christian Luyendama. In the town where he was born. Loser again, second corner in the space of a minute. Deep one this time, way too deep in fact. First look of the day at Vahid Halilhodzic, familiar face to European football fans, notably in France, where he was a star striker for Paris Saint-Germain and Nantes before turning coach for both those clubs, actually. There's Loser, his ball over the top, and Siri chasing. Ngonda gets there first, nicely done. But Loser's out to Ngonda. Hakimi bursting forward. Credit to him as well, he got a push in the back. Might well have gone down there, Ashraf Hakimi, and made the referee make a decision, or at least the VAR referee make a decision. Francois Letexier, experienced French referee. He's the video assistant referee. VAR being used in all of the 5 qualifiers today. On ball, looking for Messina, who gets there and just tries to turn the corner. Good defending by Amal, who's also known as So-So. He's defending anything but So-So there. Very good work from the pink-haired Amal, who clearly a little bit bored in the run-up to the game. Certainly relaxed. He's dyeing his hair like that. Not sure what Hector Cooper thinks, though, his coach. He doesn't care too much as long as he performs out there on the pitch. Robert's header picked up by Indesir. Nice little ball inside. It's all Morocco in these opening 6 minutes. Here's Hakimi. Of course, a really potent weapon down that right-hand side. Achraf Hakimi has absolutely blistering pace, but also really good with the ball at his feet. Delivers a mean cross. If you cast your minds back to what was an epic last 16 tie at the Nations Cup, can take a mean free kick as well. Scored a brilliant goal, the decisive second in the win over Comoros, which was a fabulous game. As we get a look at Hector Cooper, who's been involved in some huge matches in his career, notably 2 European Champions League finals back-to-back with Valencia, both of them which he lost, but even so, getting to the final twice in succession, a huge achievement. The only one that he's had. He's been in charge of the DRC since August. Bemba wanted his goalkeeper to calm, and Maya picks it up. Here's Hakimi. Maya again. Ryan Maya, the younger of the brothers. Sammy also on the pitch as Loser delivers. Dama behind for yet another Morocco corner. Concerted spell of pressure. They've only been to the World Cup once before, of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and that was when they were still known as Zaire back in 1974. As the ball comes in, another deep ball in. Get our first look of the day at the Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi. Be hoping to see that 48-year wait for a World Cup final place come to an end. Morocco, meanwhile, looking for their 6th participation. They were there in 2018 as well. Disappointed, it has to be said, in Russia. Finished bottom of their group, but it was a very difficult group with Spain, Portugal and Iran. They managed to get a point against Spain with a great draw, as well as the Democratic Republic of Congo come forward. It's dealt with on as far as Amal here. Treads on the ball, he's under a bit of pressure from Ryan Mai. The hosts get a throw. Taken quickly, Akolo gets a corner. Messina wants to know how his teammates were caught out there. Switched off a little bit to Morocco. Now Shadrack Akolo to get in onto the end of that throw-in, and now there's a corner to be defended. Nearly 10 minutes gone in Kinshasa. DRC 0, Morocco 0. Morocco clean header at the near post. Here's Hakimi. He's a danger on the counter-attack with that pace, and Ngonda's well aware of that. He makes an excellent challenge, and even gets the throw in. Messina's going to have to deal with this one as well. Played it a little bit neat with Akolo closing in. Just a little bit tight, I would have thought, for Moroccan fans' liking. Got away with it though. Mentioned there's 3 Watford players on the pitch, Messina being one. The other 2 being Messina's Morocco teammate Imran Louza. And on the opposite side, there's Edo Kayembe, who signed for Watford in January. hosts number 21. Again, trying to switch play and does so successfully. Ngonda's there again. What a duel that's going to be between Ngonda and Achraf Hakimi. That's nice play too. Some of the volume getting turned up, and there's a deflection. And now the stadium erupts. The opening goal for the Democratic Republic of Congo. Against the run of play, Yohan Wissa gets it. And scenes of absolute delirium in Kinshasa. Morocco have dominated the opening 10-11 minutes. Roman Saiz cannot believe it. But they allowed Wissa to cut inside on his right foot, get the shot away, and it's off the head of the Morocco captain. Bounou completely wrong-footed. No chance whatsoever for the Morocco goalkeeper. And the DRC have the lead. What a big goal that could be from Yohan Wissa. 12 minutes in. He's given his side the advantage in this World Cup playoff. Well, that's something of a surprise on the balance of play. Amal just launches it forward, finds Bakambu, and here come the home side again. Their tail's very much up. Morocco now need to draw the sting of the home side, as they will have the adrenaline flowing after taking that lead. Here's the guard. Saiz so unlucky with that goal. Tried to put it through, did Maifi and Nasiri. Again, Amal has been very heavily involved in the opening 14 minutes or so. Just nods it back to his goalkeeper, João Kiasumbua, who's actually without a club right now, the Swiss-born goalkeeper. Actually, he's already a World Cup winner, all the way back in 2009 when he played for the Swiss side in the Under-17 World Cup, as Maya Vergeerd gets the first booking of the day, and then perhaps would be better advised just to move away instead of arguing with the South African referee, or in defender. The foot was high, but the head was low from Mbakani. Not sure what Aged is supposed to do in that situation, other than go for it with his foot. No doubt, though, that he did catch Mbakani. Veteran striker, familiar face to world football fans, now 36. Tremendous career in European football, notably in Belgium. His strike rate is phenomenal, better than a goal every other game. 102 in 203 appearances in the Belgian top flight. Looks like Standard Liège and Anderlecht. Clipped forward by Akola. Boone thought about coming. Good that he didn't, because it was a very long way from his goal. A lot of bodies in front of him. They've got a corner. And you can see virtually everybody in blue and red and yellow in the stands on their feet and dancing, all because of this man's goal, Yohan Wissa. The Brentford forward. His first season in England as well is Wissa, after joining Brentford from Lorient, the French side. Azagad and Luyendama get to grips with each other quite literally inside that Morocco penalty area. Wissa with the corner then. Boone comes for this one as well, but there's a header away by Aged. Just forced wide. Was Mbemba. Morocco's midfield enforcer, Sofiane Amrabat, Dutch-born. Brother of Nordin Amrabat. Morocco with some work to do here then. Miles header. Amrabat. Flicked on by Bakambu as Saiz comes crashing through the back of Bakani. Louza dispossessed and then hauls back his man. Ball forward, header away. By Saiz. He got caught in position there, did it? Gonda. Flags up. And gets to Bakambu, I think, not Mbakani. Mr. Gomez. Insistent, free kick taken from the right place. Here's Louza. Now Aged. This is the 15th time that these two have met in the last 50 years. 4 wins for Morocco, 3 for the DRC. So the odds very much on a draw here, which would certainly suit Morocco if it was 1-1, 2-2 with the away goal rule in action. Remember the second leg to come in Casablanca on Tuesday. Potentially extra time and penalties, whisper it quietly, for those of a nervous disposition. Minutes gone in Kinshasa. Democratic Republic of Congo 1, Morocco 0. Bakambu is brought down by Amrabat for this free kick. Mbemba to Ngonda. Wissa. It's a good ball through. Really good ball through from Yohan Wissa. Samuel Bastian getting forward. Not going to get the corner that he wants though, the Belgian-born midfielder. Plays his club football at Standard Liège. I'm a little bit too enthusiastic with the aerial challenge. They did clatter into Syria, I think it is, who's taking his time to get off the artificial turf. Free kick to Morocco then, just inside the DRC half. Loser slants it across. Solid header away by the home captain and Bakani, and it comes again. Away once more, this time by Mbemba. The counter-attack stopped. Wissa fouled. Salim Amala, who, like Samuel Bastien, plays his club football at Standard Liège. A number of links between the two sides who'll be very familiar with each other. There's Amal, touched that a bit too far, and it's a great challenge by Amrabat. Ball was there to be won, and win it he did. DIC getting this far by topping Group J in qualifying. Beating Benin by a single point. It was a really tough group stage. It was only a matchday 6 win here against Benin that took them through back in November. Morocco came through their group stage in supreme fashion. Topped Group 6 with, Group I with 6 wins from 6. Not being tested as yet. Joel Kiasambua. After that early spell of Morocco pressure, it's the hosts who have both the advantage in terms of the scoreline and in terms of possession. Here's Amrabat. Loser. Gives it back to Loser, who just can't take the ball with him. Well, that's nicely done by Okolo. A little move inside outside from Chadrak Okolo, who plays his league football in the French 2nd division with Amiens. Minutes left in the first half. Democratic Republic of Congo 1, Morocco 0 in this first leg of their World Cup playoff. And despite his side leading a goal to 0, Hector Cooper still doesn't look too amused, does he? They never do they, coaches? Saiss. There's a foul, says Mr. Gomez. Samuel Bastien there, who actually only made his debut for the DRC back in October. The Federation, just like the Moroccan counterparts, using the diaspora very well. Pick up some very, very good players. The ball is flighted in away by Aged. And it comes again, Amal, and Bunu is scrambling and had to. he hadn't got a hand on it, I think Bakambu probably could have sneaked that in at the back post there. Look at Bakambu arriving. Would have been touch and go whether he could have made contact before it went out of play, but Bruno took away the option. Away at the near post by Nasiri. It's interesting to leave Hakimi up there as almost a lone striker when Morocco are defending set pieces. Throw in, says the assistant referee, and Morocco in a hurry here. Here is Hakimi, that's why he finds himself in a centre forward position now. Nasiri, who's essentially the side centre forward. Amrabat, loser. Maye trying to just chest it down for Nasiri, but succeeded only in chesting it up. Amrabat wins back possession. Morocco certainly have quickened their pace in the last minute or so. Dispossessed. In a dangerous position was Amala. Tries his best to win the ball back, but DRC come away with it, and Gonda wasted. Well, Bakambu, I think, will keep it in play here. He's offside. Missed out, but only just on 2018 World Cup qualification did the DRC. It was a group stage back then, the third round. They finished runners-up by just a point to Tunisia. Tunisia getting the point that they needed on the final day of qualifying to go through at the DRC's expense. The flag going to stay down here. There's two players who've broken away, and Bakambu can make it 2-0. Huge scramble and a massive let-off from Morocco. Will the DRC live to regret that massive opportunity? And a wasted opportunity for the Leopards. No doubt a bit of frustration for that missed opportunity in that challenge from Ngonda that's earned him a booking. The second name taken by Mr. Gomez. He should have been writing down the second DRC goal scorer, and it should have been Cedric Bakambu. Massive chance to make it 2-0. Morocco, albeit the favourites, are very much in a game here with 30 minutes gone in Kinshasa. DRC 1, Morocco 0. Yohan Wissa's 12th minute goal. The difference between the sides. But for all the world that Wissa and or Bakambu were offside when they broke through. Flag stayed down. The chance wasn't taken. To be fair to Bakambu, there were a couple of Morocco defenders who got back really well, but had the ball in from Wissa being better, he surely would have gobbled that chance up. 2-0 lead, well then, Morocco in real trouble, and DRC very much in the driving seat, even with still 3 halves of football to play and then some. Sami Mai. Again, part of a free scoring red side in French football is now. Forget that's a nice little one-touch play between Nasiri and Imran Louza, and that will be a corner. Can't believe it, can Soso. It's going to be an in-swinger this time. It's mostly been Imran Louza with that left foot delivering all the set pieces. Instead it's Hakimi. Maybe should have left it for Imran Louza. Now is Hector Cooper. Should have seen his side score a second here. Wissa bursting clear. And actually, to be fair to Bakambu, didn't even get to him. I think it's Aged. Got back superbly. Messina's there as well. And in the end, it's well defended by Morocco. But their coach, Fahid Halilhodzic, not happy at all with the performance that he's seen so far. Did start strongly, but they have been very much under pressure. Since about the 10th minute, just before Wissa put DRC in front here. 12 minutes to go in the first leg of this World Cup playoff. These two sides meet again on Tuesday in Casablanca. Stepping forward again. It's twice now that the Red defender has moved forward with the ball at his feet and into the opposition half. Sami Mai. And now Bakambu can turn. And Bokani does brilliantly to hold off two. Wakola pursued by Nasiri. A sign of just how hard this Morocco team are willing to work. It's your centre forward who's charging back and dispossessing the opposition some 30 metres from his own goal. Not for the first time, actually. And Nasiri has been back there defending. Looks a bit tired, I have to say. It's a very, very warm day in Kinshasa, above 30 degrees Celsius. In the middle of the afternoon, not ideal conditions for playing top-level football. Here's Aged. Louza clips the ball forward. Finds Messina. I've seen Adam Messina in an advanced position too often. It's a slip by Amala. And then a foul. Second one in a short space of time from Salim Amala, but that was a clever foul, as you might say. Stopping the counter-attack after he'd slipped on the surface. Certainly not going according to script as far as the Moroccans are concerned. Once more. It's not an easy ball to deal with, and Kolo steps in. by Amala. Now Amal. We can watch that one sail over his bar. They're not producing much going forward, and Halil Hodzic will know that. No Hakim Ziyech, of course, for Morocco, after he and Halil Hodzic had a very, very public spat. Halil Hodzic reproaching the Chelsea man for his commitment to the national cause, and Ziyech reproaching Halil Hodzic for that criticism. It's neither backing down. Ziyech in the squad. Not likely to be for the foreseeable future. Former Morocco defender Mehdi Benatia saying in the French press that he doesn't expect Ziyech to be back as long as Halil Hodzic is the Morocco coach. That position very much dependent on whether he qualifies them for the World Cup or not, I would suggest. And Samal clears it. 8 minutes left. Bakambu here. Akolo, and Bakambu will go for the return, but holds off again. Reinforcements coming as far as Morocco are concerned, but Bakambu does brilliantly. Akolo. But the expansive ball across to Ngonda. Didn't quite work out for the Watford midfielder though. Still the DRC lead though. Here's a map. A lot of the DRC players come down this right-hand side, but the goal came from the opposite flank through Wissa. Even though his shot was heavily deflected, as Roman Saiz tried to head it clear. Instead, just wrong-footed Bounik. Is Wissa. Great challenge from Saiz. Loser. Options now for Morocco. Hakimi didn't seem to be quite fully motoring down the right-hand side as Mr. President applauds the challenge. Keep it in. Now it's going to run away from him. Struggling to create clear-cut opportunities are Morocco, and the fans who've travelled to Kinshasa for the game will be bitterly disappointed. Promising opening has faded. The hosts have the lead. Looking relatively comfortable and really should have had a second. Certainly have the bigger pedigree in World Cup terms do Morocco, but actually Democratic Republic of Congo are two-time African champions back in '68 and '74, whereas Morocco incredibly only won the Africa Cup of Nations once back in 1976, beating Guinea in the final in Ethiopia. Finished runners-up in 2004 in Tunisia, but in Tunisia. They've done no better than the quarter-final since then, just as they did in Cameroon this year. Just 5 days short of 2 months to the very day they were beaten by Egypt after extra time in Yaoundé. Could be extra time in the second leg of this one if the sides are level. level after extra time, then away goals will come into play. Lisa touched the ball on and was caught by Sami Mai. Card for the elder Mai, who's joined his brother with the Hungarian side Ferencváros. Two minutes to go till the break, 2.5 minutes in fact. DRC with the lead and looking good. Bounce beats Bakambu. Wouldn't be surprised to see changes at half-time from Vahid Halilhodzic. Kolo. Back to Louis Ndame, who's with the Turkish club Galatasaray, but went on loan to Saudi Arabian football in January. The powerfully built DRC centre-back has got some work to do here. Ryan Maye. Hakimi's ball in and the header. Didn't get enough on it in the series. Hasn't scored for Sevilla in the series since late September. He's had a few injury problems as well as missing a good chunk of the Liga season due to Morocco's Nations Cup commitments. That was an opening for a striker of his calibre. With the throw, Bakambu trying to find some room. So is Akola here. Akola, chance to cross. Whistles at the back post. Just a little clever little nudge from Achraf Hakimi. Moroccan, who's on his way to winning a second league title in as many years. This one with Paris Saint-Germain, as we see the 1 minute to be added on. Won the Serie A title with Inter Milan last season. Amrabat. Loser trying to turn his man. Who's Kanyembe, his Watford teammate. Kola. A little bit too much manhandling from Messina. He's making his thoughts known to the assistant referee. A little bit too obvious from Messina, and maybe an opportunity here. Surely the last action of the first half that we'll see in Kinshasa. already beaten once. Probably should have been beaten the second time. Okolo's ball in is not a good one, not at all. And there goes the half-time whistle. And there's work to be done for Morocco after a fine first half display from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yohan Wissa's 12-minute goal, giving the hosts a 1-0 lead at the break. They haven't really looked in too much trouble off the home side. Morocco applying pressure, but didn't really create too much in the opening exchanges. The DRC have handled the conditions and the pitch much better. They've given themselves a platform ahead of the second half. They'll be hoping to strengthen it, reinforce it ahead of that return leg in Casablanca next week. Fairly sure that Morocco will change things around after the break. Trying to give themselves more of a presence going forward, because they just haven't been strong enough, quick enough, clever enough in the final third. What a reaction to the goal it was as well from the home fans. So take a look at the first half stats. Morocco with the Atlas Lions share of possession, you could say nearly 62%, and just the one shot on goal. It's the one that counted from Yohan Wissa 12 minutes in. Morocco yet to test Joel Kiasumbua in the home goal. And the DRC with a precious lead after 45 minutes in Kinshasa. Welcome back to the Stade des Martyrs in Kinshasa. The Morocco substitutes heading out. Let's see what their coach Vahid Halilhodzic has up his sleeve ahead of the second half of this World Cup playoff against the Democratic Republic of Congo, who lead by a goal to nil ahead of the second 45 minutes. Yohan Wissa's 12th minute goal, the difference between the two sides. There are plenty of attacking options for coach Vahid. Let's see if he takes any of them from the start of the second half. Significant support, as you can see, for the home side. An absolute bedlam when that goal went in. The deflection off the head of Romain Saïss, the Morocco captain, completely wrong-footing Yassine Bounou. Giving the hosts a precious lead as they look to end a 48-year wait for a place at the World Cup finals. Zaire actually beat Morocco in qualifying for the 1974 World Cup. Will they do so again en route to Qatar 2022? You can see that the wind has significantly picked up as well. Morocco players get those feet moving after a 15-minute break in which their coach will have had plenty to say, and not much of it too good either, about their first half performance. Saïss and his centre-back partner Naïef Aguerd deep in conversation. Their success in recent times, Morocco has been built on an ironclad defence, but they've been breached already once today. It's now at the opposite end that they need to fire, and you can see Romain Saïss trying to gee up his teammates. Shouldn't need too much motivation, it has to be said. As the DRC players make their way back out onto the turf, the artificial turf at the Stade des Martyrs. Yohan Wissa with the goal on 12 minutes, just cut in from that right-hand side. Chanced his arm and got a good degree of luck as his shot hit the head of Romain Saïss. He was trying to clear it, Saïss, but instead just diverted it to the right of Bounou, who'd gone to his left. There were other opportunities as well in the first half for the DRC, and very, very few of any note for Morocco in the final third. In fact, no shots on target for the visiting side. Claudien Gonda there, after a spell in France, now plays his club football in Latvia. Start of the Latvian season as well, which runs due to the very cold weather in the Baltic nation from spring to summer. DRC get us underway then. They have the lead after 45 minutes in Kinshasa, the first 45 minutes of this World Cup playoff for a place at Qatar 2022. This the first of 5 head-to-head ties being played today, and with the return legs on Tuesday. Some big names will fall. Morocco will hope not to be one of them. They trail here. That said, a 1-1 draw away from home would be a decent result, if not the win that Morocco would have been hoping for. But as for the neutral, it will certainly keep things nicely on the boil ahead of Tuesday's return leg in Casablanca. Here's Mbakani trying to find Bakambu, but Saïs stepped in. Here he is again, the Morocco captain. Aguerd. Easily cut out by Okolo, who's had a very good game so far for the DRC. Bastien and Luyendama goes all the way back to Kia Sambua. He's had very little work to do. Morocco disappointing in the final third. He's on Rabat. Ryan Mayed turning this way and that, but he didn't fool Luyendama. Foul, says Mr. Gomez. They only managed 1 goal at home in qualifying for the Africa Cup of Nations. Did the DRC. They had a good record at home in World Cup qualifying, 2 wins and a draw in their 3. Here's Morocco defending. Ball away by Saïs. Again, wayward. The delivery from the back hasn't been that good. It's not been a good performance all round, actually, by Morocco. That's a lovely ball. DRC coming down the left here with Wissa, who bends one. Just wide of the far post, the Brentford man desperately close to a second. And Morocco escape again. Lovely ball slid through for Yohan Wissa. A bit closer in than when he scored on the 12th minute. No deflection this time to help the Brentford man. Another opportunity for the DRC. You do wonder how much the artificial pitch comes into it as a factor. Certainly was one there, because En-Nesyri did not read the bounce whatsoever. Of course, the home side will be far more used to playing on this surface than Morocco. Forward and the chase on for Bakambu. Saïs is there, taking no chances. He's developed into a very, very good defender since moving to England from Angers. Now at Wolves, Romain Saïs. I think it's fair to say, rather an unexpected success story. At least in terms of the scale of success he's had in England. Establishing himself as a Premier League defender. Luyendama's ball forward. Stays in. Now for a throw to DRC on that right-hand side, but Bakambu's there. Sniff of goal in the first half, did Cedric Bakambu. Good bit of defending though between Messina and Aguerd to deny him what would have been a second. Amrabat, nobody there in a white shirt. Surely Halilhodzic has to do something to try and provide some presence up front, or at least improve the service to Youssef En-Nesyri. 6 minutes into the second half, DRC 1, Morocco 0. Here is En-Nesyri, but the sort of position on the pitch where his team would hope to find him with the ball. And Rabat. Foul. Morocco with a free kick. Really been out of their own half in the opening minutes of the second half. Here's Sami Maye. One of 3 players booked in the first half. The others being Aged and Gonda. Here's Ryan May. And still tricks his way past. Ball in from Messina, might drop here. Has got a deflection. Behind for a corner. Mala with the shot. Just lurking on the edge of the area. Very, very strong wind blowing across the pitch. Could well be a problem here for Kia Sambua. Loses ball in. Maya's header, and Kia Sambua makes the save. Ryan Maya with the header. And the first piece of action for Joel Kia Sambua. Good follow-up block as well from Chancellor Mbemba. Another Morocco corner. Was there a hand there? Certainly looked like there was, and there's a penalty. Certainly struck the hand. It was well away from the body, was the arm. And there were only half-hearted protests really from the home side. They knew. I think it's Bakambu. That's unfortunate. It's Sami Maye who's just in front of him. I think the ball gets a touch. And it hits the arm of Bakambu. His arm is well away from his body, and that is a penalty. And a great opportunity here for Morocco to pull level. Kia Sambua against Ryan Maye. And Maye puts it over. Didn't even test Kia Sambua. And a cry of anguish from the Morocco striker. And the jubilant scenes repeated in the stands, as well as the devastation of the Morocco fans. Huge opportunity goes a-begging. The stutter step run up from Maye, favoured by so many penalty takers now. But it didn't fool Kia Sambua. In fact, it didn't even matter whether it did or not. Maye did not hit the target. And that's got the DRC fans singing again. Can Morocco come back from that? It's a huge blow. What an opportunity missed. 10 minutes into the second half. DRC 1, Morocco 0. Amrabat. Dispossessed by Ngonda. And that will be a Morocco throw, says the assistant referee. Hakimi with it here. How will that affect the confidence of Ryan Maye? Of course, it won't do it any good. It's just how badly it will affect his confidence. Agard's header. You get the feeling that the DRC fans believe it's their day. They have the lead. And Morocco have missed a penalty. Wissa again cutting in from the left. And away by Messina. Could have left it if he'd gotten a shout. The corner, acrobatic attempt, missed on Bakani, tries to backheel it into the path of Wissa, and played away by Messina, only as far as a collar. Sorry, it's Kayembe, in fact. Here's Wissa. Sai's strong at the near post for Morocco. The home side now applying the pressure. Morocco know they cannot afford to concede a second. At least not without having scored first themselves. Sami Maye, at least Ryan Maye's brother's on the pitch to try and raise his morale in the series. Dispossessed. Chancellor Mbemba wanted Wissa to go a lot further down the left-hand side than he did. Tremendous noise coming from the stands now. DRC with that one-goal lead afforded them by Yohan Wissa's 12th-minute goal. Here's Hakimi. Not seen too much of the Paris Saint-Germain superstar so far. Here he goes down that right-hand side, pursued by two. Just runs into Kayembe, whose neat footwork delights the DRC fans. Hails from Kananga in Central Democratic Republic of Congo. Does Edo Kayembe. Made his name in European football in Belgium with Anderlecht and then Eupen, which is virtually on the border with Germany as Bakambu battles with Agard. Poor clearance by the Morocco defender and a great ball in, and Bakani's there. Sami Maye just doing enough. Oh, the flag was up anyway. Or was it? No, it's a goal kick. Poor clearance from Agard. Given straight to Amal. Definitely not offside, and Bakani. In fact, he got there in front of Sami Maye, who did enough to put him off. You do have to wonder how many chances DRC will have and miss before they live to regret those. Here's a call-up. Bakambu. Interestingly, perhaps disappointingly for DRC, none of the clear-cut chances have fallen to Bakambu yet, who's been in such good goal-scoring form. 3 and 6 appearances for Marseille since returning to European football in January. Oh, that's nicely done by Ngonda. Space for Wissa now. Poor cross from Yohan Wissa, just struck Sami Mae. Hakimi. Intercepted by Ngonda at the cost of no more than a throw-in. Imagine that the 92 million population of the DRC are absolutely riveted to their TV screens right now. Africa's second largest country after Algeria. And so far, deservedly so. Morocco have missed a penalty. Right now, they're staring down the barrel of a first defeat in 90 minutes since 2020. Remember, they were, of course, beaten in the Nations Cup by Egypt, but that was after extra time. They've got some 27 minutes here, plus added time. Smashed away by Luyendama, who's the sort of centre-back the old school will like. No nonsense. Maye. Sina's ball in, there's movement in the middle. Nasiri was in there, so was Hakimi. I think it was Hakimi who got the header. Couldn't direct it on target though. The movement of the number 2, it's a great leap as well. Maybe actually put off by Nasiri jumping just in front of him. Scored a fabulous goal, really fabulous goal from a free kick, did Achraf Hakimi in the last 16 against Malawi at the Nations Cup to take Morocco into that quarter-final with Egypt. Hasn't had the opportunity to test Kia Sambua from a set piece today. DRC will be very aware of Hakimi's set piece ability. A little bit surprised that Hakimi didn't take the penalty actually. Trusted with the direct free kicks. Why not trust him with the best direct free kick of all? Sami Mae to his brother Ryan, who missed that penalty given away to Ngonda, but he was fouled by Samuel Bastian. Bit too far out surely, this one, even for Hakimi. Maybe if the wind was coming from behind Hakimi, but it's actually coming across the pitch from this near side to the far side. Sambua though, still taking no chances. Flicked forward by Loser. Just launched clear by Mbakani. Hakimi's ball forward. And just not clicking at all in the final third, Morocco. Loser, ball to me, but he's got possession and it's hacked away by Ngonda again. And Dama's header. Bakambu, pinballs around. Ngonda. It's on play. Well, Mr. President looking fairly relaxed. First substitutions, and they're actually for the home side. Makolo is off, and on is coming Yannick Bolasie. Ben Malongo as well. So fresh legs going forward for the home side. Who, after a long spell in England, now plays his club football in Turkey. Good work from Amala. My poor touch from him. Mbemba with the captain's armband now, as you can see, following Mbakani's withdrawal. Fouled is Bakambu by Roman Saiz. Seen VAR used as yet. Mr. Gomez giving the penalty decision straight away. Maybe we'll have had a word from his VAR referee, who's Francois Letexier, the Frenchman. But it was a fairly blatant handball from Bakambu. Who's now playing right through the middle for DRC, alongside Ben Malongo. A spell in Moroccan football did Malongo with Rayo Casablanca. Confirmation of Malongo on for the veteran Mbakani. 21 minutes left in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo 1, Morocco 0. Well worth their 1-goal lead, and probably worth at least a 2-goal lead. The home side, albeit Morocco have missed a penalty. Just been quicker to every single ball. Hakimi does go for goal. Kia Sambua not happy with his defenders for allowing at least a shot to come in, even if it didn't go anywhere near to troubling him. But you don't want to give Achraf Hakimi too many sights of goal, that's for sure. And only now do Morocco make a change, the final 20 minutes. Tariq Tissoudali is on. Ayoub El Kabi is coming on as well, so hugely disappointed. Ryan Maye heads off after missing that penalty. changes up front bring added presence and firepower to this Morocco side. There's one of those new faces, Tarik Tissoudali. Actually had been tipped to start this game. So now got an opportunity coming on for Ryan Maye, as you can see. Front two changed with Nsiri going off. Tissoudali has had a very, very good domestic season in Belgium with Ghent 15 goals in 27 matches. It's a fabulous return. Needs serviced up, does the Amsterdam-born forward. Same as Maye and then Nsiri, they haven't really had it. Morocco's delivery in the final third, the final pass has been very poor so far. That's what needs to be improved. Kiyosambu, a long ball forward off the head of Aguet. Kayembe has been quietly influential as the Watford midfielder for the DRC tonight. Just holding things together in midfield. That's broken nicely for Bakambu. Just misread the intentions of Samuel Bastien. Ryan Maye. 17 minutes left. DRC 1, Morocco 0. This is the first of 5 first legs of these third round of World Cup qualifying in the African zone. Well, they just will tidy that up. There was just a little sniff of the ball there for Tissoudali. As Theo Bongonda waits to come on. Another player who'd been tipped to start this game, that began it on the bench. Another man who's had a very good season so far in the Belgian league. Henk, not to be confused with Ghent, and it's Johan Wissa, the goal scorer. This was the 12th minute. Kayembe's ball through to Wissa. Cruel and decisive deflection off the head of Romain Saïss, the Morocco captain. And Wissa is off, Bongonda is on. Closing in on the final 15 minutes here. Now gets a little bit lucky. And the chase on now for Bakambu, who's in behind again here. Cedric Bakambu. Super challenge from Romain Saïss. Brilliant piece of defending from the Morocco captain. Just as Bakambu looked to pull the trigger. And now an opportunity at the other end. Oh, the sucker punch from Morocco, delivered by Tissoudali, and it all stemmed from a brilliant defensive challenge by their captain Romain Saïss. The DRC thought they were closing in on a second, and within 30 seconds, they're punished at the opposite end. And it's the prolific Tariq Tissoudali, the substitute, who has pulled Morocco level and given them a crucial away goal. DRC just sleeping at the back, and that is a crisp and confident finish from Tissoudali. The sort of strike you'd expect from a man who's hit the net 15 times in 27 matches for his club in the Belgian league this season. And the two substitutes, El Kaabi teeing him up and Tissoudali with the finish. They make an almost instant impact. We are going to have a VAR check. I think for offside, potentially against El Kaabi. Big call, this one. Mr. Gomez just giving it the necessary time. Goal confirmed. DRC 1, Morocco 1. And with virtually the first opening that they've had, Tariq Tissoudali has found the net 14 minutes from time. And now that missed penalty by Ryan May doesn't look quite so bad. Here they go again, El Kaabi bustling through. It's a real physical presence, the number 14, and I think they were almost certain to see Tissoudali and El Kaabi start in the second leg. They'll certainly be very, very strong contenders, because the way that they've played up until those two have come off the bench, Morocco, has been very powder puff. In the Syrian, Ryan Maye getting very little change from the DRC backline. Here's Kayembe, Liundama. Liundama again. Amal trying to just flick it up the line for Bongonda, but it's out for a Morocco throw. I think Massina's just taken a blow on the knee there. That certainly makes things look a lot better for Morocco. Well cut out by Bongonda, who's had a superb game, he really has. Especially when you consider that he's up against Ashraf Hakimi, who's had such minor impact on the game so far. All in all, they've defended very, very well of the DRC, but they just seem to switch off. As they appealed, well, certainly the crowd appealed for a penalty when Saiz slid in on Bakambu. It was such a clean challenge, though. Within just a handful of seconds, the ball was in the back of the DRC net. Tissoudali, what a lovely finish that was too. Bongonda here for DRC. Just over 10 minutes left. 1-1 here. Great save from Bunu. The header from Malongo was destined for the net. Another substitute who nearly has a goal-scoring impact. Spring heel leap from the number 19. And super start from Bunu. Great bit of football all round. And the game suddenly getting quite a bit livelier. Messina down, it was injury, I think, picked up just a little bit before that opportunity. Mr. Gomez just takes advantage of the break in play to have a drink himself. Well, Hector Cooper will surely be relatively pleased with the way his side have played, but he'll be hugely disappointed that they haven't been able to build on that 12-minute lead from Yohan Wissa. They have since been pegged back. And they will be a lot happier, the Morocco fans. They'll be confident that if they go back to Casablanca with a 1-1 draw or potentially better, really good play from Al Kabi, back to goal. Tissu Dali didn't need a second invitation. We're going to have 2 more Morocco changes. Faisal Faya is coming on. Experienced, artful midfielder. Missed some of the Nations Cup due to a positive COVID-19 test. Sofiane Alakouch is coming on as well. Let's see who they come off the bench for. Long ball forward. Kia Sambua. It's not dealt with and still not away. That's handball. The whistle had gone already. Malango, who's making a real nuisance of himself. And Amrabat is in a good degree of pain there. Waved away the medical staff to Amrabat. It's not too bad. Clearly shares the same hairdresser as Mr. Gomez. Saiz with that. It wasn't really a clearing header at all, was it? And it just caused Amrabat a problem to try and deal with Malango just charging forward. And now the changes come. Alakouch will replace Messina. Remains to be seen whether Adam Messina will recover from that injury then. Ahead of the second leg. Faisal Faya is also on. Will head across to take up that left-back role vacated by Messina. And as I suspected, it's Imran Louza who makes way for Faya. That was a foul on Hakimi, and Gonda going right through the back of the Paris Saint-Germain player. That will be a yellow card. Suspect a little bit of afters. He's got the yellow card out, as you can see, Mr. Gomez. Chancellor Mbemba pleading the case of Ngonda, but it's going to be no good. Regardless of whether that's his first foul or not, that's a yellow card. And it's going to be a red one, because he's already been booked. Gonda is off. He was booked on the half-hour mark. And DRC will be down to 10 men for the final 5 minutes of this one, and Ngonda will be suspended for the return in Casablanca on Tuesday. You can see why Mr. President is not quite so happy now. Mr. Tshisekedi. His team were doing so well. Starting to unravel slightly in Kinshasa. It's a shame for Ngonda because he had such a good game, but that was an awful challenge. especially when he knows he's on a booking. He'll watch the rest of this one from the dressing room. Why he's making that sort of challenge when he's on a yellow card already, I do not know. I'm not even sure he does. With a man advantage now then. Can Morocco capitalise? Second away goal would be huge. Fayer's ball in. Comfortably away by Malanga, back in by Faye. Tissoudali on the far side is going to be beaten by the bounce and the wind and pretty much everything. And for a goal kick. Time ticking away now. And you would think it's DRC who would like a little bit more added on to the end of this game, at least before they went down to 10 men. Try and get a second goal and take at least a victory to Morocco for the second leg on Tuesday. Rabat missed it. Good challenge on Yannick Bolasie by Amrabat. Fairly sure that Morocco will be happy with a 1-1 draw here. Merveille Bocadi is on. Bakambu, the man to make way. Must have thought that he had the opportunity to get a second for DRC. Cedric Bakambu just seconds before the ball was up the other end and in the back of the DRC net for the equaliser. Chase on here for Hakimi. Achraf Hakimi, why didn't he have any support from anybody in a white shirt? It's a telltale move, bringing on Bacardi by Hector Cooper. He's a defensive midfielder, so clearly the Argentine coach of the DRC settling for the draw. Does mean that the DRC will have to score in Casablanca though, otherwise Morocco will have the edge on away goals. But he must be confident that his team can do that. The thing is that Halil Hodzic will be confident his side can score too, although I'm fairly sure that there will be changes. Much more of a threat since Tissoudali and El Kaabi came off the bench. Those two teaming up for the equaliser. Here's Aguerd. That's a good ball in just over the head of El Kaabi. Who knows, that was an opportunity. Just peeled away from his two markers, did El Kaabi. Club football in Turkey now. Hatay Sport. As we see another change. The fifth and final one for Morocco. Sofiane Boufal on for Salim Amala. Boufal very much an attacking option. Is Halil Hodzic just thinking about a late second here. Three minutes to be added on. Not much time for Boufal to make an impact, it has to be said. Here comes DRC with Malanga. He's also been a handful since he came off the bench. Kayembe gets the free kick for handball. Taken quickly. Decent ball in too from Yannick Bolasie. Well dealt with this time by Roman Saiz. Be annoyed with himself that he's miscued headed clearance. Turned Yohan Wissa's shot past Yassine Bounou. 12 minutes in, but the Morocco captain has seen his side come back into this one, and they may well argue that they would have had the win if Ryan Maye hadn't turned that penalty, sent it well over the crossbar before Tariq Tissoudali smashed in a super equaliser. Really crisp strike from the edge of the box. So the goal that Mr. Halilhodzic will appreciate. As a former striker, hugely prolific he was in French football. Smashed clear by Aguerd. Kabi will give chase. It's going to bounce out of play, and he was offside anyway. Well, there'll be lessons to be learned ahead of Tuesday's game in Casablanca. Here's Bolasie. Rabat away. Inside the final minute of the 3 added on here. Given away. Kayembe tried the little Zidane turn. Kayembe again. Here's Bolasie, no foul. And the chance maybe, there's Bongonda. Amal is there. In it comes again. And Hakimi just wafts the left leg at it to send it back up the pitch, and that will surely do us in Kinshasa. Late little scare for Morocco, but they've survived it. And there goes the full-time whistle. Positive display from Hector Cooper's DRC side, but they're deflated. They had the opportunities to add to Yohan Wissa's 12th minute opener. They didn't do so, and they paid the price as Tariq Tissoudali smashed in the equaliser 14 minutes from time. And you have to say it's advantage Morocco ahead of Tuesday's second leg in Casablanca. There'll surely be selection changes on both sides, but I think particularly from Morocco coach Vahid Halilhodzic, who saw his team really toil in the opening 60-65 minutes or so to create any sort of impact in the final third. But when Ayoub El Kabi and Tariq Tissoudali came off the bench, far more dangerous. And you can see the disappointment on Djermasi Amale's face. And it's not exactly jubilation from the Morocco fans, but they're pretty happy with that result, and so they should be. They'll have every confidence that their team can now go through to what is a 6th World Cup finals appearance. But let's not write off DRC as yet. That performance was strong from Hector Cooper's side, just lacked a little bit of a cutting edge at times. Could have ended a lot worse for Morocco, But in the end, the 1-1 draw and the away goal for the Atlas Lions gives them the advantage ahead of round 2 in this World Cup playoff. Morocco much stronger in the second half. 10 attempts at goal, but only 2 of them on target, both sides struggling for precision in front of goal. And Gonda's late red card means he'll be suspended for the second leg. Both coaches with work to do ahead of that game in Casablanca on Tuesday. We'll be seeing you then.